Hi.
Oh, hi. It just went into my ears. Why did it get so loud? Good morning.
Good morning.
Why I can't see things. I'm acting like the older lady that I am. Hi.
Your volume's a little bit low there.
Yeah, something's weird. It got weird. Let me
Is the
do this.
headphone actually on?
I think so. Can you hear me?
A little bit. Let me turn mine up
Okay.
here.
Let me see if I should change out
No,
my
it
my
actually might be good.
earpiece. Okay.
Give me a thumbs up, everyone in the chat, if that's good for you, if you can hear okay. Maybe I was just volume down.
I can't see anything.
Oh, good. What's going on, Shane? Happy mover. Sweet. All right, we're good to go. So, yes. So that's
See it, be it.
Be it.
What's up, y'all? Hi. Good morning. Yeah, I want to jump in on yesterday with you and Amit speaking, but I was watching because I saw the title, but I had to get ready for work. So kind of like wrapping up what you said earlier, like we had downtime. Downtime is something that I've never really have because I'm really, really busy with my day job and stuff like that. And
Mm.
I just said, let me jump on and just listen to Martin's voice and get this power put into me because you are a part of my see it be it moment. So yeah, good morning. Good
Good
morning.
morning.
I see all the names
Yeah.
going on. Hey, Allison, I think I saw Miss Sony. Alex McLean, wherever you are, you're one of my, you're my see it be it moment. So Alex, I call Alex Sensei because back in the
Sensei.
day,
Yes.
I've been doing the fitness thing for a little over 10 years,
Yes.
and I would go to fitness conferences and I go, where are the black presenters? Like men, women, I don't give a, I don't know what your thing is, but where are the black people?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, you know what? And I would always look at like the leaflet and see like, oh, this guy, Alex McLean keeps popping up. I said, I should
Yes.
get to know him. So, and that happened in real life. And he has become one of my mentors, one of my go-tos.
Nice.
Um, I try to follow in his footsteps and he guides me on the back end. Another one of those see it be it people is Erica Quest. Literally,
Yes.
I've fangirl Erica Quest forever. And then when she became my actual friend and we actually talked to one another and just
Yes.
it deepens the experience. And then I have Mr. Martin right here. I'm looking at Instagram, which I barely looked at before the pandemic, and I see you
Yes.
sitting there with your studio, and you were like, Mychele, all you need is X amount of square feet, a couple pieces of equipment, and you can have a studio. And I'm in my living room right now on my Flexia, but I was on my living room teaching math classes, and my neighbors got mad about me teaching Zumba and dancing and stuff like that. So I had to go get a studio. I didn't
Yes.
have to go get a studio. That's a privilege. But I was able to get a studio with the help of my husband, who's a real estate guy. And it was just amazing to have that space and then get the equipment. And then
Mm.
Martin sends me a Canadian bill with a trailblazer on it, and I have it in my studio just right there. Like, how people have their first dollar? I have my
Yes. Yeah.
Martin dollar because Martin was like, hey, jump on a call, let's talk about it. And he's like, you can do it. Why can't you? And I go, oh my God. And then Martin's like, I'm just gonna have this little thing every week. Let's see who shows up, and look at you now. So it's all about see it be it. It's all about
Yes.
it. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank all y'all. Thank y'all.
My pleasure. It sounds weird to say I'm so proud of you, but like every chance I get, I just like, man, I love it. I'm so just
There's
elated
Misty.
for where you are. I'm gonna bring Misty on right now
Hey,
too.
Deshaun. And Misty's another one of my see it be it people too. That's why, like, this is perfect.
Yep.
I met Misty at PMA. I forget what year it was. I was just being special, and I saw Misty, and I said, she's a
Hi, my
diva,
friend.
and she is out here doing it her way. I'm gonna see what she's about. Fell into the Misty zone too, and just seeing her as a master trainer and someone so
Yep.
steep in the work. And I'm like,
Yep.
she looked like me. I'm gonna.
Hmm.
What is she doing? And that is like, that's the thing. I need someone, and whatever your he looks like me, or this person's like me moment
Hmm.
lets you know that you are possible. I'm possible because I see you all doing it. And I think Allison's still in here. Allison, she's
Yes.
another one. She started her studio. Masoni, like every one of us, we were able
Hmm.
to level up, and we're still leveling up. So it's exciting. Hey, Misty.
Hello, hello. Can you hear me okay?
Yes. Hey,
We
Velvet.
can.
Good, 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 good.
Where are you? We being nosy.
I know. You can go edge up all in her business. I'm just like, hi. I'm just leaving
Yeah,
it.
hi.
No,
She's like a
no, no,
trainer or
that's
something.
okay.
Yeah,
It's
but look,
totally okay.
thank you for showing up for us. Because I was like, oh, I'm gonna get grilled by Misty.
No,
It's so exciting.
my mom is having a procedure today, so I am in the surgical suite at the hospital. So, I brought out my best mask so that I could be on screen with you guys. So sorry I
Okay.
was late.
No, you're on
Stylish.
time. When you got there, I see Connie go by, Nia. I see you. Hello.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's been a great journey, and it was so funny because I was driving yesterday when you were on with it, and I was like, and I clicked it. I was like, what am I doing? Because I was trying to pull over, didn't happen, and
You had to meet all nervous too, man. He was like,
yeah,
yeah.
I'm really good with these things, and my family would kill me. Like, you, no one wants to see me get in an accident on IG Live, so there's that. But I had no idea that the Pilates Anytime thing was dropping this week, and
Yeah.
I thought it was dropping next week, and I was like, oh wow, that's a great little segue because that's another see it, be it moment. Because Leslie Logan, one of my mentors as well, good friend. Um, when I became a Pilates instructor in 2016, she gave me my Pilates Anytime code to use to sign up for it. And I'm going through the
Hmm.
Pilates Anytime repertoire there. It's like, where are the black people at? Pilates Anytime. I saw Misty. Of course, Gia is one of the people, but Gia's beige. I love you, Gia. I couldn't see. And so now we have Kira,
Yes.
another one of my C and B. I can go down the whole list because
Yeah. Yep.
Kira was at Equinox before I got there for training, and somebody said, "Oh yeah, she used to train here. She was one of our managers or something like that, and she teaches Pilates and Turks and Caicos." I said, you can do that."
You're right.
I saw all of these little nuggets. I was like, I can do this. I can't do it all at once,
Yeah.
and that's the
Yes.
thing that life has slowed me down because I have a tendency, and if you guys have seen my stories or heard me talk who are watching, if you look at my background, I have I've had or still have certs in so many things because I get inspired by something and I try it out and see how it feels, and I've like spin teacher. I was like, oh, that didn't work. I don't like sitting on that seat. I did that for 2 years. I was over it. But Zumba, teaching dance fitness, and when I got to Pilates in 2016, and I'm training everybody, trying to get my hours, and my mom goes, this is what you've been doing all your life, right? As a
Mm.
dancer, she's like, you've been doing this. We just called it something else when you were doing warm ups, and that's what kind of stuck with me when my mom said that. I said, okay, let's see if we can try to make this a career. So I'm still working at making a career. I have a studio and all that good stuff, but my main focus is to show up to show people who are different in whatever way. A little black girl who had
Mm.
an afro who now has locks, who's a little thicker, looks a little different. There's space for you. And I think that the Pilates
Yes.
Anytime thing, before I got that gig, and again, I earned it. I've been showing up to let people know things are possible. So now I'm kind of like honing everything in where I'm just focusing on Pilates,
Yes.
dance, and yoga. Those are the three I'm focused on and kind of bringing it all home. But
Good
I'm
stuff.
so grateful for everything that you two have done throughout, you're still doing, but during the pandemic to really sit and listen to you and get a little deeper into your journeys and what you think and how the work works through you and how you work through the work. I said, oh my God, this is a career. I can do this forever. And again, that's a long way to say thank y'all. That's a long way to say
Love.
thank you.
That's love.
Yeah.
Well, what I
Okay.
really appreciate about you, Mychele, is that, I mean, you are working your business. You are 100% all in. We see you everywhere. And, I think it's important for newer teachers to see that, yeah, there's no magical Pilates fairy running around anointing people this or that or the next thing.
No.
You
Mm-mm.
have to get down in the dirt and, do the work. And
Yes.
that's that. It takes time and it takes effort and it takes energy. And boy, you have the energy. But aside from that, you have the tenacity, and that's very, very clear in what you put out there. So just want to give you kudos for that.
Thank
Special.
you.
Yeah, like you hear like anyone who follows like those Gary V chats and all these like marketing guys, and regardless of what you think about them, the very common thread amongst them is that you have to put in the work. Like you do not eat, sleep, anything but the thing that you're focused on. And you can see that you're living that out, Mychele. So when I say something or Alex says something or Misty says something that resonates with you, you're already in that cycle. You're already like we're coming alongside you in that. You know what I'm saying? Like you're already doing the work. And it's just like, and that moment that, like what you said earlier, we're talking about the see it, be it thing, but you said something that I wrote down because like any see it, be it moment starts with you ask yourself, like you can do that? Like that could be a job. That could be a thing that is possible. Like that question of that's possible. And it's like, yes, it is possible. Let's go in that direction.
And it has not been overnight, as y'all know. Nothing is overnight. Was it Malcolm Gladwell talks about this is
We said it
outliers,
yesterday.
outliers. Yeah,
Yes. It takes
I
10 years
read
to be an
that book,
overnight success.
and it's true. Malcolm Gladwell, you're right. I mean, for my fitness stuff, I've been seen in that world for a long time, but I always felt kind of like, and I know everybody's saying the same thing. I felt like an imposter, like this
Mm-hmm.
Pilates thing. But I get to bring all my stuff into the Pilates that I teach, and it doesn't have to be like everybody else's Pilates. And the people that I serve, um, they don't care or don't know, and some do, some don't, about
Mm-hmm.
the history of Pilates or the any of the archival stuff. They like, what are we doing with you? And then that opened the doorway for them to deepen the practice for themselves. But that was one of the first things that I asked Leslie Logan back, I think it was March or April of 2016. I said, do I have to do this every day? And she looked at me, she said, oh, honey, you're not going to get it unless you do it every day. I said, oh, Jesus, I got to do this every day. And I felt really comfortable for a long time on just the mat, even though I'm comprehensively trained through the Equinox Training Institute. And my teachers, Carrie Macy Samper and Susanna Todd, both Romana trained. I don't go by lineage, but that's who I learned from. And Phyllis Refo, um, all Romana divas, 25 plus years in the game, and that's who I learned from. And I took that and changed it up. But I was like, I'm a mat queen. I'm a mat queen because I didn't want to do the reformer too much. And then in the pandemic, I realized like I need to really deepen my work on the reformer, not just passing the certification. I need to
Mm-hmm.
actually get on it and do it and teach it more. And it's been a whole new journey. It's like literally a whole new journey. So I'm excited, and I can do this forever. I feel as long as the Lord blesses me, I feel like I can do Pilates forever, and I need to because my spine needs to stay young. That's what Joe said, right? So yeah, look,
Right.
fun stuff.
Especially with all that dancing you're doing. Like I'll be good, but you're dancing enough. You need
I'm
Pilates.
trying to lose some of this pandemic goodness. I was feeling all nice and juicy, and I liked it. But that's the biggest I've ever been. But I was eating everything like Miss Pac-Man. I was home, so I um I want to try to make this something that kind of uplifts people. But I'm light. Um, just if there's something that calls to you,
Mm,
dive deep into it. And right now, I'm diving deep into this cancer exercise um, certification with Andrea Leonard, and it feels like such a calling on my life and my heart right now. Oh, I'm getting a
Mm,
glimpse. And to be able to do that in Pilates spaces and working with the Core
yes.
Compassion Project, woo, another turn that I never saw coming. So again, seeing Joe
Mm,
Henson going like, oh, you can do
yes.
that. Again, another
Right.
candle lit up. Like, wow, it's
Mm.
such a blessing. I'm gonna shut up and let y'all ask questions and let y'all talk.
You're doing just fine.
Okay, because I just
Yes.
feel like I'm just like talking and just like
No, I
stopping
see.
at things.
Well, I want to jump in with something that you're saying there. Like when we think about how we have to teach and what we have to learn and all those things, like you're saying, like you learned it one way and then you put your spin on it and you put your expression in it. I have to say to both of you and to everyone who's watching, like your audience is waiting for you. Like your audience is waiting for you. So if you have your signature that you want to put on your work when it comes down to the people who are coming into your space, give them that. Like you know who's in front of you, you know who you are. When all those things are married together, that's why people are coming to you. And that's not knocking anyone else because I know the people who left me to go with someone else and they're thriving. And there's people who
Hmm.
left someone else to come to me and they're thriving with me. So my audience is waiting for me. So if you're not truly and authentically who you are, marrying how you learn, what you learned, who you learned it from, what you're excited about, what makes you come alive, when all those things are tied together, those are the people that are going to come to you. So you can't be somebody else
It doesn't
and
work.
rob everyone else's experience. It just doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
So like,
And
good for you.
I, again, in channeling, watching Jen Hall is another one, Tasha Edwards, of course, and just watching everybody who was working with the Balanced Body team as master trainers, Tanya Amos, all y'all, Fabrice and Labrice, all of y'all.
Yes.
I I really put a lot out there during the pandemic. I want to say like 2020, 2021. I'm applying for the PMA, applying for presenting at CanFit Pro. What am I doing? The Idea World Conference. I'm doing the Fit Expo next weekend. So I just put my name in the hat, and then
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden this year, everything that I put out in 2021, 2022, early, they're like, "Hey, Mychele, would you like to present?" So I am living my fantasy this year, presenting at all
Great.
of these different conferences. And I hope to be someone who inspires others. They're like, oh, she's a little bit thicker than everybody else. She does this a little bit
Mm-hmm.
differently. I just want to show up, and I'm going all in for 2022. And I need to take advantage of this momentum that's out there. And Momentum Fest. Hey, Jessica.
Yes.
Just
Yeah.
everything, it's like a little ladder. So, but the work that happens behind the scenes, like the studying, the programming, that's not lost on me because there's so much that happens when all of you who are watching, if you see, oh, my dance teacher
Mm-hmm.
taught us this, or my yoga teacher made the sequence. It's work. It's work behind the scenes before we get there to you. If you have
Yeah.
a situation in your Pilates practice, and we're making sure that we're not doing anything that hurts you, we're doing no harm. It takes a lot of work. So y'all please appreciate. Yes, come on,
Mm.
Miss Tammy. We appreciate you appreciating us, but we put in work. That's what I do anyway, get to work. But we put in work. It's a lot of work.
Yep.
We care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
What
think
are you
it's
gonna
so
say?
important to remind people of that. When you have someone that makes it look really easy, somebody with a really nice social media presence, looks like they magically just popped in off the unicorn to just shake a tail feather and then disappear again. It's not that. It is time, it's effort, it's energy, it's study. You said you've worked with a mentor. That is something that has been lost and needs to be rediscovered, is working with
Yes.
mentors. Is that's where A, the work continues, but B, it's where the growth really happens. You can't grow in a vacuum. I mean, you can, but
Mm-hmm.
it takes a lot longer. And is it really sustainable? No, you always have to be up leveling. And I think that
Mm-hmm.
remembering that this is a practice, but it's also a course of study in its effort and its work with great reward if you do it well and you really are passionate about it. But I think that's so
Right.
very important. I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, I mean,
Absolutely.
and just checking in with your colleagues, Allison and Rachel, CJ from CJ Kelly. I get to work with all these beautiful women. Nikki Natalie, let me not leave Nikki out. I'm gonna get beat up later.
Yes.
and
You'll have
and
a
and look,
kettlebell coming for
You know,
you.
so I was gonna
right.
use the exactly.
Hey, Damali, all of everyone, every little piece of the puzzle. Um, and I'm not name dropping to make it sound like, oh, she know everybody. Let me
Mhm.
tell you, I'm that person who didn't have the credentials to get in the room, and I just kind of snuck myself in or eased my way into something because I felt like this person had something I need to learn from. And
Mhm.
it wasn't anything like, oh, I'm trying to come up so I can be, blow up on social media.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Sunny.
y'all. I'm not trying to be on. So I mean, yeah,
Mhm.
my social media is okay. It's not indicative of the work that I do on the back end, but it's something to
Right.
give people to look at. And I'm not really good about posting Pilates. I'll post like my studio or whatever. Yes, Tammy. I post like, here's my studio. Do you see me doing Pilates on my Instagram? No, you don't. I do.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
do. I got to get better about it because I feel like the Pilates police is going to be like, what is she doing? Yet I'm watching, hey, I see people doing like, they're doing crazy weights and then upside down on the reformer. And I'm like, ugh. And then they go, well, that's not Pilates, but we're, and the same token, I've seen, like back in the day, Kim Carruthers, she had posted something with her beautiful hair hanging down near the well of the Pilates reformer, and someone said, "Oh my God, what's wrong with you?" Like that's her expression. And
Yes.
so when I kept seeing that, and that's one reason I got off of Facebook, but I'm back on Facebook,
Mhm.
that people are sitting there picking at you. Hey, hi, David. Hey, Miss Bozaz. Everybody's picking at you, and I don't like that picking because the people who I serve, and I'm not doing it for self edification. They love me, and they love being seen by me, and I love being seen by them. So I'm not here to like do parlor tricks for y'all
Right.
on Pilates reformers or any of the equipment. I'm here to like really get into the work. So if you like what you see, I'll be putting my schedule up again. Take a class, dance, yoga, Pilates, whatever. It's in the bio. But
Get
we
it.
do so much behind the scenes.
Mhm.
And these two right here who are on the screen with me, they're doing the Lord's work. They're doing the Lord's work. Miss Dragonfly Pilates and Mr. Personal Victory Pilates and the brothers, melanated brothers of Pilates, all of that. And it's still really interesting to be in a space where maybe the world is looking at us as Pilates instructors through the gaze or the lens of the white person or the person who says Pilates has to look like this. So again, kudos to y'all for doing that work because you make me possible.
Well, but you
Thank you.
show up.
Yeah,
You
in a
know,
big way.
we might, and there is something to be said for people who can get through the door. But I mean, if you're waiting for someone to come with a palanquin to carry you through it, you're going to be waiting for a long time, collecting dust, maybe getting a little bit moldy. That's not what it's about. It's about, in my opinion anyway, you might not start out with the credentials or whatever it is. Who does? But you put in the work, you do the effort, you make sure you put yourself in the right places. And it's been the same way for Martin and me and anybody else. You work up to that point where people start to see you and recognize you, and they see that you're doing good work. It all
Yes,
comes back to the work.
it does.
It
It
all
does.
comes back to the work.
When
Martin,
I still,
question.
yeah, well, yeah, it's more of a statement. One of my clients I still train now is like my second client ever. Like I've had her for 20 years, and like maybe 2 or 3 years in, she was a principal and she had like really good, like she's like in her school, she's making good money, she's doing all these different things, and she said the difference between you and me is that I have power, but you have influence.
Mm. Hmm.
And I didn't hear it then because I was like a 24, 25-year old just coming in, doing a couple of personal training clients, working in social work. It was like part-time job at the time. But she saw how I inspired her and how I inspired others. and how she has to wield her power at school to get teachers to fall in line or for students to do whatever. So she had to work with power to get people to do stuff, whereas I worked with influence to get people to do stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, if I'm going to use my influence, I want to influence people to do Pilates and move. That's what I want to influence. Yes, Derek, you should like this guy. This guy is amazing, Derek.
Thanks, Derek.
Well, and it's such a powerful thing too, because there are a lot of people out there with power who wield it inappropriately, I'll say,
Right.
who run around suing people and, beating their chest and calling people names and Pilates policing or whatever it is. And that's power for power's sake.
Right.
Influence is different. Influence is the nuance. Influence is I can use it for good, or I can use it to be a real pain in the ass. And I think that when we look at influence, because even right now, especially right now, the idea of influence has been corrupted as well.
Right.
At the end of the
we're
day,
redeeming it in this moment right now.
I hope so. Because at the end of the day, when you influence someone for good, then their life changes for the better as well. And then you pay it forward. It's the concentric circles I'm always talking about. And that, I think, is what's really, really important. That's where we grow.
Yes.
As a community.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So Michelle, all you're saying, I was just thinking about that I remember that, like, she said that, and at that time I didn't feel that I didn't, not that I didn't agree with her, but I just didn't see it yet. And I feel like I see it now, and I try and be a good steward of that influence, where I lend my voice, what I do, who I, you know what I mean? Those sort of things. And I think that's part of it, is like, what do we do with that influence, and how do we use it to amplify the voices and the cause of others? Share that space and that influence with others as well, right? So
yeah, we were on a live earlier, whenever everything's a blur. We were talking about cadence, and one of my words that I talked about, I said surrender. Because cadence, we could talk about consistency and whatever that means. It's not consistency as make sure you post 3 times on Instagram. It's like, what are you doing in your practice away from the screen? And then what cadence are you doing that? Are you really running your own race? Because it's really easy, and I'm saying what everyone said, to get caught up in looking at what this person's doing, or look how many persons they have following them as an influencer. And I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in the influence of people coming to me saying, hey, perfect example. I teach a pom-pom class. It's so fun. I teach a pom-pom class.
Of course you teach a pom-pom class.
Because it's amazing.
I teach a pom-pom class too, just so you know. Like, I teach on Tuesday nights.
Martin, post
I would like to see that.
That's all I want to say.
I need to see that. Right. And the studio where I work out, the C Spot, is a woman-owned studio. LGBTQ, both owners have footing in that space. So they're saying all the things that check all the boxes of being inclusive and diverse. And anyone, however you present yourself, male, female, non-binary, we celebrate everybody in that space. And a gentleman came to class, my brother from another mother, Duran, and he was taking class, and he just started crying. He says, you guys really see me here. And I've had people want to give testimonies like, you guys are not, I saw it on the internet, but I came and I really feel it the minute I came in the door. And that's how I want to present myself. Like, okay, well, this is a chick that she's in this glass curio, and she can't be touched because she's royalty in some way or another. No, I like to get in the mud. I came from the mud. On my shoulder, you guys will see my tattoo. I have a unicorn, a hamsa, and a lotus flower, because people from where I'm from South Central Los Angeles, say we get it from the mud, right? And that's why I love Lotus, because it's like, I was some chick who parent was on welfare, rough beginnings, and I've made a way. And to be that person who can still light up a room for other people, it means so much to me. And I think that's the beacon of light that I try to keep. Now, sometimes I got to go in the corner and cry because it's hard to stand up for everybody. So then I have to be a steward of my energy and make sure I'm standing up in the right spaces and not pouring everything out for everybody, because I can't be everything for everybody.
Yes. Yeah.
And that is
Yeah.
influence. That is influence for good. And again, we get so caught up in the labels and the monikers and the you're a master teacher and you're a master sergeant and you're the master of your own universe. But at the end of the day, who cares? Like, I would much rather leave a legacy of positive about, you know, taking care of yourself and taking care of the people around you and, you know, being a good steward of the community. That is, again, that's what it's about. And that's what you do. And I've noticed that's what your community does as well.
Absolutely.
And
I see Wifey just joined.
that's actually
Yes,
power
she
and
did.
influence. Hi, Alex.
It is. Yes. And when that influence grows into power, that's different than when you have power and then you try and assert influence. Like, one is authentic, right? Like, one is really authentic in its growth, very organic in its growth. If you have both, awesome. But if you have to choose one, it's an influence, which may or may not lead to power. But the reality is that you actually have power if you have influence.
Right.
Truly, truly. And I think another big piece of the community that we built that comes around us, it lights up like a wick, a candle wick. I keep getting a visual of like the menorah. They only had, if you guys know anything about the Jewish religion, and when they had the candelabra, I don't want to say it wrong, this menorah, but and that one candle, they had enough oil. It's just enough oil for one, but over the passages of the night, the other candles, the other fires were lit. And I always see that, like, I see myself as a candle wick. I see you all as a candle wick, because when I met Misty, I was like, oh, she got a studio? Oh, she got a studio over there? How'd she do that? And do people go to her? You know?
Yeah.
And it's amazing. And I think another great thing that we have, especially as Black people, I know you got a little Jamaican, I got a little Caribbean or whatever, and we might just regular table shelf Black people, but being able to code switch in real life, being able to code switch in fitness and Pilates spaces and yoga, I think that is
regular.
My niche.
Right. So did you just call her table shelf?
You know, we were just, look, there ain't nothing regular about being Black. First of all, let's start right there.
Right. I just couldn't let that just like fly by. Sorry.
But because when people look at us, they don't go, oh, Martin, you're Jamaican? They don't look, they see a Black man. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, Mychele, like she's just this crazy redhead right now. When I have my afro, she's this crazy girl with the afro. So I was
just picturing myself on the shelf next to like the mustard and the ketchup.
Ooh.
I don't know.
I think you're hot sauce. Hot sauce.
Ooh, la la.
Ooh la la. Crystal, maybe Red Rooster. I don't know. But I think that I don't want to get away from that, because a part of my conditioning when I was starting as a personal trainer, or any of the things that I've done that I have on my belt, it was like, let me mimic or let me parrot what this person is saying or how they're acting. Yeah. And then I added my special sauce to it, my unicorn juice, if you will. And that's where the magic happens, because when I taught Zumba, I still teach Zumba. Hey, Tasha, jump on.
Hey, Tasha. Yes.
That people are like, who's the creator of Zumba? We don't even care. I'm standing next to the man who created Zumba. Who is he? I know Mychele. I don't know that guy.
Right.
So that's why, like, adding your special sauce, whatever your combination of delicious Blackness is. We need to show it for people, because I don't want Pilates to be so inaccessible, and that's why I do a lot of free things. I do a lot of community things on the side, just so people can have exposure to it. And I'm really hopeful that the stuff that people see on Pilates anytime this week and next week says, okay, I got a 15-day free trial. Let me try this mat exercise series with Mychele for 5 days. And when y'all see it, there was a moment and shout out to Gia and to Erin and to Nicole, Christy, Pilates Anytime. I was teaching a mat series, and I'm teaching, and I had a moment because I like did a little squeeze of the glutes, and I slapped my butt, and I said, "Whoa, slap your own ass." I said, "Oh my God, I did that." I said, "Slap your own ass," and they were like, "We're leaving it in."
We're leaving it in.
We're leaving it in.
That's awesome.
So when you guys see the Pilates Anytime piece, you're like, Mychele is crazy as hell. And I want you to know that you can be crazy as hell, black, thick, juicy, and with lots at that time that were faux, but these are real, and you can be on Pilates Anytime. So y'all, I gave you the ticket, you got the baton, go run with it. Go run with it. And I applied. Nobody gave me shit. Let me make clear. Somebody look at this lens. Don't edit it out, right, Tammy? Nobody gave me a damn thing. I have been a body for Pilates Anytime since 2017 or 18. I would show up and just be a body in the room. And they were like, "You really drive 2 hours to show up to be a body?" I'm like, "Because I'm learning as I'm here. What the hell?"
Right.
So they were like, "Hey, you know what? You've always been a body. Have you applied?" I'm like, "Let me apply." And I saw Marimba do her thing years ago, Euronia. Like everybody, like, "Oh, they're applying." And shout out to Stella and everybody at the PMA for showing up for us, y'all, all the PMA and the 4 horsemen as they call them. Like, shout out to all y'all because I am also a member of a PMA committee. Ooh, did she say it? Y'all didn't see it. I am a member of the committee. And I don't know if I can say it. If I can, I just said it. I'm a member of the ITAP committee. I'm saying it. This is happening now. So those people who are applying for certification of your programs, whether it's a MAT program or reformer program, I am one of the approvers because I had to go through a very deep selection process to show that I have the ability to look at a program objectively and give them the check box for PMA. So your girl's in the background doing things, okay? Did y'all know that? Oh.
I just want to jump back to something you were saying earlier, Mychele. We were talking about like just how the people that we meet and cross paths with and all those different things. And this is almost like just giving flowers to Misty for a second. When we met, we were both doing a photo shoot for Balanced Body, and I flowed out. And then I met James Creator there. I met Misty. I met some other people, Gerald, and others. And it's so funny. Like Misty and I, we hung out there. We talked. We connected. It was fun. All those things. And I wasn't even really that deep in the Pilates world at that point to know who people were. You know what I mean? So like we reconnected during COVID when like, you know, everything's locked down, started reaching out to people and making these connections. And every now and then, like every year on my Facebook, you know, the throwback posts, those moments from last year will come on. And,
sorry.
Yeah, jump up. And so it's funny. So at that moment, that's when I met Misty, not knowing the giant that she was.
Yes.
I wasn't a giant.
You were totally a giant. You had 2 studios. You were consulting with people. You know your business stuff. Our conversation was a fire starter for the studio you see behind me. You dropped that word micro business on me and made me think, wait a minute, I don't need to have 7 reformers to make this happen. I could do it with a small space. I could do it with this. I could do that. I went to my business partner here and said, let's do this with 11 by 17 room because I heard of this word micro business from this girl that I met years ago. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I didn't know the giant that you were when we met authentically, just sitting around waiting for the next photo shoot, falling asleep on chairs in a cold room at the Balanced Body head office.
It
you know
was
what I mean?
so
Like,
cold.
Dude, it's so cold. So like that sort of thing, right?
Thank you. But I mean, I'm almost out of words, but I will tell you this. For me, you know, I stayed in my corner. I did my stuff. I taught for Balanced Body. I just did what I did. And, you know, I didn't recognize myself as anything other than a person that was doing my best to teach people and change lives. And, you know, to know that that had that effect on you is a big deal to me, Martin, and I appreciate hearing that. And I also think that, you know, meeting you, because I'd not, beside you, maybe 3 or 4. There were only like 3 or 4 Black Pilates instructors that I'd ever met. really until about 2019 when I went to the Black Girl Pilates conference. So, you know, it was really literally working in a vacuum, just staying in my lane, not anticipating ever getting to be in that place, that magical dewy place that everyone tries to get to. It wasn't even on my radar. I didn't think it was possible to me. I don't live on the West Coast. And, you know, that was it. So again, you just never know who you're influencing or who you're influenced by. I meet this character here who, you know, we are fully engaged in body terrorism because doing a video shoot is, I mean, a photo shoot, as you know, is really hard. And he's like, oh yeah, I do this all the time. You know, I do it for Tony Little or whoever it is. And I'm like, what? Oh, and you're built like a god? What? So I'm just saying, like, you provide some influence too there, Mr. Reed. Just saying.
Yeah.
And Mychele's influencing others and passing it along as well. It's just this helix. It's fabulous.
Yeah, shout out to Joshua Keith too. Joshua, he knows he won a contest that we all, her name is escaping me right now, but she was working for Gratz at the time, did a partnership with Equinox and Pilatesology, and I was a part of the shoot, and he won that contest to get a free training to become an instructor, and he's out there killing it. He's on Broadway. I mean, like, and we're getting to see him. I think it's, I don't know the platform that he's on, teaching Pilates as well. So, I mean, we're out here showing, and it's all related. It's like a ripple. It's a beautiful ripple effect. And shout out to my Flexia family because come on. And they don't even know what we're doing, Tasha. They don't see all what we're doing. I never thought I'd be an instructor on a platform teaching Pilates on a reformer. So this has been really weird and surreal, but I'm very grateful for them reaching out to me. I'm not the diversity hire. I'm a trained professional who they saw my worth. And
Can I just interrupt real quick, Mychele,
Yes,
because I have to go back to my mom. But I want to say this to you.
Ma'am.
Because you've said a few things multiple times, and I just want to tell you this. Please take the time to bask in your hard work and the results of your hard work. Take the time to say, I did this, not because, you know, I think that you're not doing it, but I think that it's very easy to get caught up in the grind of doing, and we lose sight of what we've done, and we don't take the time to applaud ourselves for moving forward. And then when we don't do that, none of it matters. We're always just chasing this carrot over and over and over again. Please take the time to sit back with your cup of coffee, kick your feet up, and say, holy balls, look at where I am. And I have busted my ass to get here, and I deserve this coffee, and I deserve a little bit of joy. Please take the time to do that.
I'm trying to hold back a little droplet right here. Yes, Misty. Yes.
You know, we go out here and we work and we do, and we survive and we drive and we drive and we drive. Sit in the back seat for a minute. Be Miss Daisy.
Yes.
You know what? I will be Miss Daisy. I will be Miss Daisy.
And
I gotta run. I gotta go back.
Thanks, Misty.
My mom, guys,
love to you, Misty.
much
Thank
love.
you.
And sorry I was late, but I'm so glad I got to see you.
Oh my God, so glad. Well, I'll be rewatching this too. Bye, Mom.
Me too.
Praying for you too, Mom.
Oh, thank you so much. Bye, guys.
Yes.
Bye. All right, we've hit an hour. Oh my gosh,
Whew.
It happened so quickly.
That was crazy fast. Basking
So
it.
much. Yeah, I'm gonna. That's my hashtag for today, basking it, because I don't want to always sound like the bitter lady.
Well, and actually, other parts of it too, Mychele. I'm saying this to you, but I'm saying this to me as well.
Okay.
Every time you mention this, not every time, but a few times you mentioned it, we laughed about like not being the affirmative action hire or not having a hookup. Drop that part and just say I am here. 10 years from now, no one's going to question on that because they will see your consistency from today till then as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're already here in it. You don't need to beat someone to the punch with the I did this on my own rhetoric. Like, you're here.
And
Basket
I'm taking that. I'm like, I think this is a word from a divine download that y'all gave to me and to us as
in
well,
it.
because it's not about the outside. Ooh, it's what happens inside. And I know how hard I work. And it sucks that sometimes people are like, oh, they gave that to her. Ain't nobody gave me a damn thing. So I'm gonna
Right.
bask in it today. No one's giving me
Yeah.
anything. I work so hard.
No.
And I work hard for me. I work hard for those who are influenced by me. I work hard for my clients. I work hard. So thank you. And Misty, when you look back at this, thank you. I
All
will.
right.
I will drop that part. I hear
All
you.
right. Thank you, everybody. Before the tears start to flow, we're
Yeah.
out. And yes, Dunn know this is gonna be a podcast real quick because I think
Yeah.
that more people need to hear this. So,
Yes, they
all
do.
right, all
Thank
right.
you so
Thank
much
you
for
to
having me, Martin.
everybody. All right, take care,
Have a
everyone.
great day, everybody. Bye bye.